Hi, today I'm gonna speak about No Man's Wharf, the third area in Dark Souls 2. Well, this area is smaller than the Forest of Fallen Giants. It's slightly bigger than Heights Towers of Flame, it's still a pretty small area, although it is filled to the brim with enemies, mainly undead pirates. The ones wielding dual cutlasses are very dangerous, and there are a lot of them all around the level. The best way to navigate your way around here is to use a shield and to go very slowly. Do not rush in like an idiot, because you will get overwhelmed and killed by all those guys. Now, outside of the undead pirates, there is an area that is above the rest of this place that is filled with dark dwellers, which are enemies with big arms that are afraid of the light and fire. And you can use a Pharos Lockstone to light up the area, which makes it easier to navigate and to not basically you don't fight the dark dwellers if you light up the area, which makes things much easier. This mechanic is, well, it's really cool. Honestly, I'm gonna say it's really cool. So far, every area in Dark Souls 2 has interesting mechanics like this, which was not really the case in Dark Souls 1, and even in like Dark Souls 3 or Bloodborne, there aren't that many areas with interesting mechanics like this. So I think this is really cool, and it's pretty well made here. So yeah, for me this area is pretty good, Now, even though this area is short and filled with enemies, it's not annoying to fight all those enemies. Like if it was a very long area and you always have to fight 3-4 enemies all the time, it would be very annoying very quick. Here it's short, so you don't have that problem. The enemies aren't that bad to fight. Even when there's like 2 or 3 of them against you, it's still fine. They're still a bit more challenging than previous areas, but it's okay. You also have a bunch of dogs. Dogs are always annoying in Souls game. Here it's alright, use your shield to block their attack. So yeah, in this area there's nothing outright bad, and so if I want to fix the flawed mechanics in Dark Souls 2, here it's not about the mechanics, it's more about fixing stuff like ADP or the slow turnaround mechanic when you lock onto an enemy. Outside of that, here, well, there's nothing that is really bad, but there are still things that can get better. Mainly water slash fall damage. There are areas when you can walk and there's just a little patch of water, but there are also places where like if you step into the water you just fall endlessly to your death. It's not made very clear, that's the first thing, and it's also very frustrating when you fall into it. And this happens a lot in Dark Souls 2, honestly. There are a lot of places where like there's the void or lava or water, and if you walk into those areas, you fall and you just die instantly. Die instantly to full damage is never fun, and it's something that is used too much in Dark Souls 2. Here, it's not the first time that it happens, technically. In High Towers of Flame, you can also fall in the void, but it's rarer. Here, it can happen much more often, and it's not something that feels good, honestly. So I wish the water area was accessible, like if you step on water, you don't fall to your death. They could have added more things to do in the water area, like something like Shrine of Amana, for example. Shrine of Amana, there's a lot of water. There's also patches of water where you can fall to your death, unfortunately. Shrine of Amana is not a good area, but we'll talk about it, well, later, of course, obviously. Yeah, so this is something that could change to make the area even better, I guess. It would also help make it a tiny bit longer while not being overly frustrating. Next, let's talk about the boss of the area, which is the Flexile sentry. So this boss has 2 mechanics. First one is that there are 2 parts to the body. So if you stand in front or behind, there's always one of his face looking at you and ready to attack you. The moves are not hard to dodge. Nothing is really hard to dodge in Dark Souls 2, with a few exceptions. But the animations are not always very clear, and here it's clearer than it's not clear. Like sometimes you see it moving and you can't really predict what it's about to do, and that makes the boss really not great. It's just a okay tier boss. Doesn't have any big flashy moves. He just wields cutlasses, swords, and he attacks in front of it, and that's it. Additionally to that, you have the water rising up during the fight, so if you take too long you will drown and die, and I think it's too much. Like if you make a boss fight with environmental challenges, okay, fine, but it needs to be interesting. Here the water rising up if you take too long, basically meaning it's a DPS check, or you have to learn the boss moveset to be able to kill it fast. It's not something that is really great. Like if you look at the Four Kings in Dark Souls 1, not a fight that is amazing. Like some of the moves are cool to dodge, I guess, because you're in the abyss, you also can see shit. That's unfortunate. Here, there's nothing much to see. You just dodge, attack, and that's it. Honestly, this boss, it's just okay tier. Like there's nothing much to talk about. It's not the worst. It's not that bad, but there's nothing much to say. If they were to make a remake of the game, I wish they would change this boss. Maybe make the arena a tiny bit larger, more place to move around. The water doesn't fill up. Also, why is the water rising up? Like we're inside of a boat. If the water rises up, it means the boat is going to sink at some point, and yet you're using that boat to travel to the lost Bastille after the fight. It's like the levers in Heights Towers of Flame. Like it's a cool mechanic, but it doesn't make any fucking sense. So yeah, don't make the water rise. Maybe add a few moves to the boss to make it more interesting, more challenging, better animations, and maybe a second phase. Like an example of what a second phase could be with that boss is the body could split up, like the two parts, they split, and you have to fight one that is standing up on the legs, and the other part is on the ground and trying to attack you from the ground. That could be interesting. If you play against this boss in NG+1, you have additional NPC enemies attacking you with the Flexile sentry, which is just annoying. Like, it's cool that they tried to make NG+1 interesting, but in that case it's just not great. So yeah, the boss splitting up and having to fight two different enemies at the same time could be interesting. There are other possibilities, but I'm not really thinking about anything else. Now to conclude about this area. So the good things are the atmosphere. I didn't talk about this, but the atmosphere is really good. Challenge is good. There are pretty good shortcuts. The light mechanic is interesting. The enemies are fine to fight. They are harder than before without being too frustrating. You need to take your time to venture through the area. In terms of things that are bad or that could be better, the water and the fall damage are annoying. The boss is okay tier and could be much better. If you rush through the area, it can be overwhelming, which is annoying when you die repeatedly, and I think that's one of the main problems of Dark Souls 2, not just in this area, is that if you take every single area and you go through it very slowly, there's not much problem. But if you try to go slightly too fast, it becomes unbearable. And you could say that the areas in the game are not designed to be played through like in a fast-paced way. Okay, I can agree with this, but when you die repeatedly to a boss and you need to go back to the boss, the fact that you need to walk through the entire area and you need to fight every enemy on your way to get back to the boss, that is annoying. That is why shortcuts are important. Here in No Man's Wharf, there are good shortcuts. That is good, but it's not always the case. And we will talk about that again, mainly with the Undead Purgatory and the Executioner Chariot. Sometimes it's really annoying. Here it's fine, and I think overall the area is great. It's a pretty great area. I like it a lot. I don't think it needs a whole lot of change if they make a remake. Alright, so that's it for today. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time for the Lost Bastille. Bye!